Good evening, everyone. How you all doing this evening? Sorry that my lighting is really bad, but I'm in my car again. I will never, I guess, get to enjoy my own home. Our tribe likes to continue to violate our rights. So I mentioned yesterday on my Prove Me Wrong, I talked about seeing big things happen today. I really had a high hope for today. I really had belief in our council members. With what you have in hand, I really had faith in you that you would, do right. But yet, nothing. I don't believe there's any change. So, let's talk about my 7 citations from Tyner and his staff, and my father Alan Duffy's citation from this great emergency risk manager, or whatever Tyner gave himself on this big old head of his. So, in order for these officers, to cite you, even pull you over, they need to be trained. They should have a training, a certificate of completion for training, or a commission card. The reason for this, for them to have this training, this commission card, is because they carry weapons, firearms. And this training helps them to know when to pull that firearm. Oh, that sounds really, really important, those trainings. So my question tonight is, how many conservation officers do we have that have their certificate, that have a commission card, anything? Are they allowed to pull people over? Because it says right here in our codes, what they're allowed to do. BIA police, when they have an officer who hasn't completed his training, who does not have those qualifications, he's not allowed, he or she is not allowed to even patrol, I believe. So all you conservation officers that are out there, do you have your certificate? Did you complete the proper training, or do you have a commission card to be pulling people over? Not even that. You shouldn't even be pulling nobody over. Citing them. All of you who have citations from our conservation officers during our lockdown, check them. Ask them in there. Ask them, when you go to your hearing stop accepting their fee and just taking it and paying that. Tell them, no, I would like to fight this and go to court. And you ask that conservation officer who gave you the citation if they were certified to do that at that time. I know there's a few of you that want to join, but if you could give me a little bit, because it kind of interferes with the volume and the sound. But if you give me some time, I'll add you all. But check your citations. I think it's crazy that we allow this man to carry a weapon himself. No, the res is not on lockdown. I'm referring to our previous lockdowns. But anyway, so all of you check your citations. Make sure that Tyner's men are certified to be pulling you over, to be citing you. And you men that aren't, and you know you're not. How many of you? Maybe you all need to show us that you all have the proper qualifications to be doing that, to be pulling us over, to be even carrying a weapon. But this doesn't surprise me, considering that Mr. Cervantes is carrying a weapon. And then I found out doing some research that in order to get a full history of an individual, you have to do a FOIA request. So all these little sites that you do to pull the background, they only go so far. And tonight we're going to talk about about our 30-year-old child. So Mr. Aguilar, somebody let him know that tonight's really important for him to tune in. I hope you tune in, Gabe. Tyner, Frizzell, all of you, Nelva, Judge Dahl. Let's discuss our great Judge Dahl. This lady in my mother's court hearing violated my rights and my mother's rights. And she sits in that court still, all day probably. You counsel, go pull that tape and listen to how that judge spoke to my mother in her hearing that I had nothing to do with. She violated my rights, my mother's rights, my mother's rights. You disrespectful woman. You disrespectful woman. Go back to where you came from. None of us want you here. All you coward people, you cowardly people. Putting all this stuff, threatening me with no face. Do it. Do you think that I've never lived off the res? Do you think my husband's never lived off the res? Oh my God, what are we gonna do? Who does that sound like? Who wants to expel everybody? Who expels people? It wasn't Wendell. He didn't do that. No, it's these people with the nice heart, the good hearts. Throwing the mama and her 2 babies out. And what did Tree tell me? I think it was 30 minutes, maybe. Shame on you. Shame on all of you. For a long time, really long time, I have dealt with a lot of things, I've kept a lot of things in. And I wondered for years, my kids are older now. My son is 22. My daughter is 18. And I have little ones, My first marriage was really hard. And, he has passed away. And it's not polite to speak of the dead, I made my peace with this person months before our baby graduated. I forgave him, but I cannot forget the things that I had to endure. And I think all the time, why would I have, put up with that so long? My religion was huge, a huge reason that I stayed and endured that crazy life. Everybody told me in church. My then father-in-law took me to that church and, taught me the Word of God. And it filled me with a happiness until, instead of helping me, they were telling me to pray for him. Not just the whole congregation. Pray for him. If you leave him, it's a sin, you'll burn in hell. 10 years. Okay. Mr. Aguilar, are you watching? Mrs. Aguilar, are you watching? Because this is important. I wonder if you know about all of this. A lot of things are going to come up tonight. A lot of things that I just want to know. I hope, Mr. Aguilar, I hope your family's tuned in. Because they're the ones that truly know all this, okay? A lot will come up right now, you all. A lot of things I've been holding in because I just couldn't think of putting myself out there, How many of you all have ever overdosed? How many of you all have ever overdosed on pills? Snorted an 8-ball with that bottle of pills and then had to be taken to LCMC and pumped full of charcoal to save your life. Who was that? Who was that? Whose lips were covered with charcoal just to save you? Who was that? How come you did that? Why did you do that? What was your reason? Just partying it up? Just really feeling blue? What was your reason? Tell us. My sister, I think of my sister every day. I truly feel that she is in my heart. I feel she is in my whole family's heart. I literally can look at each of them and see my sister in them. I can't even be around my nieces sometimes because, or my other sister, because all I hear is my sister. My niece Adeline sounds just like her mother when she laughs. So does Jordan. Our bug is just, she's a great mama. All of them are, just like their mother. Okay. I used to wonder how Marnie met Jose. Okay. Sorry, Chewy, but you're going to come up tonight, okay? I have to do this. But I used to wonder how she met him. Where did Chewy come from? This man that got deported, who was living here illegally. Who brought him here and why? When Chewy first came here, who did he live with? The Aguilars. He worked at the forestry. I would like to know how somebody worked at the forestry with no social, no birth certificate, why we had somebody living here on our reservation who was known to deal. And then he was living there. And I only know all this because, well, he married my sister, or tried to, or something. And he was a good man to her. He was. Don't get me wrong. He was a great man to my sister and to my nieces. But why? Why was he there? Why was he there? Have any of you all ever read our president's speeches? Mr. Aguilar, can you tell me what they're about? Or should I ask your uncle? Write them. Let's have Sister proofread them. How are we going to allow this man to hold such harsh punishments over us with such a crazy, crazy background that he hid from us? So these FOIA reports that you request, they go all the way back, not just 10 years. They go all the way back. They talk about when you're held in Carrizozo. What is his name? Zach, what is his last name? I can't think of Zach's last name, but Gabe, can you tell me his last name? Because right now, offhand, I can't remember it. Why? What happened that night? Was anybody hurt? I hope it wasn't anything violent. I hope it wasn't anything violent. These are some really interesting names, like your friends here, Mr. Aguilar. Have you ever been to Dulce, Mr. Aguilar? President? Have you ever been to Dulce Jail? Mr. Terrell Chino, have you ever been to the Dulce Jail? Gosh, Ricky, Devara, Joangel, DeCuddy, who are all these people? Mr. Aguilar, let's talk about these people. Zach, didn't we just have a fundraiser for his brother? Mr. Aguilar, maybe sometime you should unblock me and chime in and try to respond to any of these, because this is just the beginning. Cat call. What's a cat call? Where's cat call? Jaguars. Do y'all know where those are? Any of you? What goes along with jaguars? Cat call. Usually an 8-ball. For those of you that don't know what an 8-ball is, Mr. Aguilar, can you explain to us what that is? One day, maybe he'll chime in. Maybe he'll chime in. Mr. Aguilar, what made you decide to go to the Marines? What made you decide to go to the Marines, Mr. Aguilar? What was your other option? You need to step down, Mr. Aguilar. Any of you know a real victim's advocate? I could get in contact with you. Let me know. Because I would like to speak with one. A real one. Okay? Mr. Aguilar, I think it's time that you start answering. Because my speaking here to you, it's going to get real now. I would like to go above that. Where's my victim's advocate? If any of you can get me a victim's advocate, you let me know. Not Robin, no. Robin now. Any of you that feel that your information was released to other people, look up your HIPAA laws. HIPAA's big. HIPAA's big, you know. HIPAA came up with Ms. Chavez. Speaking with a gentleman one day, in their hand, one of our directors, in their hand was a list. I would just like to know how a director had information, a list of COVID patients, just handing them out to each director. Are you serious? Are you serious? Do you know how huge that is with HIPAA? This lady that just has no Indian blood, was hired and then trained and then put above an already well experienced tribal member. You need to leave as well, Miss Chavez. Ms. Chavez. You're not Mrs. Chavez anymore, you're Miss. You are no longer an affiliate. Robin, ask your husband for my phone number and give me the contact of a victim's advocate. Mr. Aguilar, you need to step down. You council members have in hand all you need to have him step down. And this person still sits there. Mr. Frizzell, who was your first wife? Let's talk about her. My first husband used to hang out with Mr. Aguilar. With all these people I mentioned. And for years I waited for this. I kept thinking, how does all this come together? Miss Aguilar, you find me a victim's advocate, a real one. Mr. Aguilar, I think you need to take a good look at yourself and all the things you've been doing all these years, all the lies your family has hid for you. You know, when my family is doing something stupid, I'm going to tell them, the F are you doing? Don't be stupid. But you're also going to help them, so I get it. But are you going to help them so much that you enable them to continue to do this forever and then try to punish us for one little plant. And yes, I'm going to fuss for a plant. A plant my doctor told me I could have because of the things that I mentioned tonight. So how dare you, Gabe, put a restriction on my medication. A medication that helps me with all these names. Tomorrow there will be more. Tomorrow hopefully a victim's advocate can really help me. A real one. I already have numbers coming in. So we can start let's just be bluntly honest now, okay? Let's just start doing that. Okay, Mr. Aguilar? No more. Mr. Cervantes, it takes time for a FOIA, but it's coming. You all have a good night, and you remember, don't let that person ever look down on you or tell you anything. Or tell you, let me look into that, give you a call, and then sit to you and type you a letter like this. This is how I know Mr. Aguilar did not write his own letters. Because when you listen to him and you watch him, he doesn't know. And all of you people that like to threaten me with my past, my husband's past, bring it. I don't care. You think there's something about him I don't know? About me? You cowardless, faceless people. Let's see what my victim's advocate has to say. You council members need to move on your papers you have in hand, because I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep coming. You all that don't understand what I'm doing or what we're all saying, what all these people are bringing up, shame on you. Shame on you for not learning your own codes, for not opening your eyes and seeing what they're doing. Judge Dahl, Nelva, both of you, leave with her, Nelva. If she's so special, you're going to allow her to violate all of our rights? Go with her. Go with her. Don't come to my house, any of you, unless you're going to stand to my face and we can sign together. All you cowards with your duct tape on my door. Judge Dahl, I don't know who you think you are, but you will not see me in that court, in my court, until Mr. Scott comes and signs papers with me, because that's my law. That's my right. Right here, Judge Dahl, you should read this. You want me to read it to you? Do you know how? It don't seem like it. Nelva, who is this lady? Who is this lady that doesn't understand our laws? Why would she? You can't understand them either. You can't enforce them either. What are you doing, Nelva? What's going on? What are you hiding? What are you hiding, Nelva? I was told that I called a family weak, a family I'm very close to. How? Because I asked a question. Answer the question. Not to me, to them, because I didn't ask it for myself. I asked for them. Mr. Martinez, council members, Gabe, y'all better move on him. You all better take those papers and you better look at them, because that's just the beginning of them. That's just the beginning. Let's go back to those Carrizozo days. I sure hope that man's okay. Y'all send me some more numbers. Let's see what we can get going here. Any of you, any of my followers that know people that can come and look into all of these allegations, share my content. Share my content with them. I need my tribe back for my people. Whether all of them realize it or not, we need our tribe back. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another episode of Prove Me Wrong. Oh, I forgot one more thing I need to mention. Lauren Gallarito. Did you hear that, Sherry Comanche? If any of you can tell me Lauren Gallarito's job description, let me know. And let me know if he's upholding that. Because all I hear is about the disrespect to our elders from this person. Miss Sherry, I live right down the street from you. I don't understand why you waited for me to text or say my phone number to text me. If you're going to wait to send me a threatening text, you could have just waited till I pulled up. Or you should have just said, hey, stop by. Literally right down the street, and you waited for my phone number? But you said you'll come out. When I go home, I'll let you know. I'll stop by your house first. Honk, and you'll know I'm there. I don't take kindly to threats, you all. You know where I live, Sherry. All of you. My face is right here to tell you all. To tell you my rights and to tell you all what is being done wrong. And you all have only heard just the tip of it. I'm not even done. Mr. Aguilar, you stay tuned. Frizzell, you and maybe your current wife, Mrs. Aguilar, ask your husband about these things. See you all tomorrow. Good night.